Jennifer wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
Dark, might be too light. They may decide they want to go Hispanic, or they want to go woman. Or you may remind the casting director of their brother-in-law.
To you.
Yeah. Because when you watch someone who you know and love, go through what he's going through.
Okay, you're not ready for this one. Because what just happened? It changes everything. Katt Williams has been screaming from the rooftops for years, and guess who just proved he was right all along? Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Yeah, that Malcolm. The one we grew up watching as sweet, lovable Theo on The Cosby Show. The one who never made headlines, never stirred drama. And now, he's gone. Just like that. And suddenly, those cryptic interviews he gave, those subtle little warnings, they're not so subtle anymore. They hit different now. Way different.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
Was Malcolm trying to tell us something this whole time about the people around him, about the industry, or something bigger? Because Katt Williams didn't just call this. He screamed it. For years, and no one listened. He warned what happens when a black man in Hollywood gets too successful, too aware, too real. And y'all know what they called him? Crazy, bitter, out of control. But now, it's looking like he was just telling the truth. He wasn't ranting, he was coding his messages. For those who'd listen, messages about what the price is when you stop playing their game. According to Katt, this isn't just about individuals, it's a pattern. Black artists rise, they question things, and suddenly, their careers stall, their names get dragged, or worse. And when you really pay attention to all the ones it's happened to, you start realizing this ain't coincidence.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
But hold up, it goes deeper. Katt went there. He actually said it out loud. The Illuminati. Yup. That elite, secretive, untouchable group people are scared to even whisper about. And while most laughed it off, Katt stood firm, and then receipts. The Guardian basically co-signed him. They didn't call it a theory. They listed names, big names, Gates, Soros, Oprah, Buffett, Rockefeller, Turner, and some behind-the-scenes billionaires too. This good club? Yeah, it's real. And Katt wasn't backing down. He even warned other black artists, don't get too close. They will pull you in and spit you out.
Necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung a million times.
We know. It sounds wild, but Katt swears he's not making this up because guess what? He lived it. He's not just talking. He's been through it. He says the machine came for him. And if he's saying it, someone who's been inside it, how are we just brushing this off?
I didn't understand that. They had to sting me a million times. I'm still not going to join, but I respected them.
And it wasn't just him. Katt made that real clear. He wasn't the only one getting pushed out, but at some point he had to let it go for his sanity, for survival.
So I know how much they talked about Martin Luther King, and I know what they end up doing to him. I know this same story about Jesus and a few of my uncles.
He suffered for years, and it finally hit him being vocal, being honest, speaking the truth. That painted a target on his back. He didn't expect the attacks to come so hard, but they did. And now he sees the whole game. They twisted his words, used his actions against him, and the elite, they just watched, profiting, feeding on the drama.
Doesn't mean I always make the right decisions, but I am gonna stand by what I stand for.
And don't forget when Daredevil Katt straight up said he knew the real story behind Bernie Mac. He didn't blink, he didn't backpedal, he exposed it. One of Hollywood's tightest kept secrets, he aired it out, just like that.
I know that the people that made money off Bernie Mac didn't like him. They hated his guts.
Shocked? Wait till you hear what he said next. Katt called out the biggest televised moment of the decade, the Will Smith Oscars slap. According to him, fake. Staged, a setup. People gasped. But then again, Katt knows the industry inside out. If he thinks it was a show, maybe it was.
Industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another. And I know what happens when they don't care about either.
You think Will just snapped on live TV? Really? A man who's been media trained for decades? He knows how to keep it together. It didn't add up. Not to Katt, not to anyone looking closer.
300 corporations that are a part of the Will Smith business operation. That is the $20 million a movie mega thing that Will Smith.
And here's the core of Katt's rage. He's calling out how Hollywood systematically tears down black men. They build you up with smiles, details, then mock you with stereotypes. And when you speak out, you're done. Even Terrence Howard and Denzel, two of the most respected, have opened up about how they fight this every day. They refuse to be part of the lie. They demand better. And now we realize Malcolm was right there too. Quiet, observing, seeing it all, feeling it, and his death, it changes how we hear every word he ever said.
The reason for the title is combating the narrative of Black life, Black culture that the media focuses on.
And just like that, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the quiet one, the steady one, started peeling the layers back. Not on a stage, not in a headline, but on his podcast, Not All Hood. And 2 days later, he was gone. That final episode, now it sounds like a goodbye letter. He didn't hold back. He spoke raw, unfiltered, not just about acting or the art of storytelling, but about the stories that never get told, about who gets the mic and who gets muted. He shared a conversation with poet Tama Georgia Me Harper that stopped him cold. She challenged the very name of his podcast. Ain't nothing wrong with the hood, she said. And you know what? That hit him, because it's true. The media paints the hood with one brush. Broken homes, violence, struggle. But what about the beauty? The creativity? The resilience? He saw it clear as day. The hood didn't need saving. It needed representation. And he said it straight. Black culture created American culture. Let that sink in. That's not just facts, that's a mic drop, and you better believe Hollywood's been stealing, repackaging, and profiting off it for decades. One of his last public lines, it sends chills down your spine now. Black survival in America, that's Black excellence. He wasn't glorifying pain, he was calling it what it is. In a world built to erase you, just being here is revolutionary, and then gone.
Not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes.
Survival, just survival. Those words hit different now, don't they? Because 48 hours after he shared them, Malcolm-Jamal Warner died, and it felt off. No tribute, no headlines, just silence. He knew, that's the scary part. He knew the clock was ticking, and that final podcast, that was him leaving the truth behind. For us to find, for us to finally hear. He wasn't chasing awards or red carpets anymore. He was trying to stay alive, emotionally, mentally, physically, in a system designed to devour you the moment you step out of line. And you know this man wasn't messy. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't out here causing chaos. He played the long game, stayed quiet, stayed good, until he couldn't, because Malcolm-Jamal Warner was more than Theo Huxtable. And yet, that's how we all knew him. Sweet, awkward Theo on The Cosby Show. America's big brother. The kid figuring things out in a perfect little TV family. We loved him, trusted him. He felt like home. That role followed him everywhere. Even as he grew up, became a man, built a new life, they still saw Theo. But guess what? Malcolm was evolving, and he did it without scandal, without breakdowns, without drama. He turned his trauma into fuel. He carried the weight of that Cosby legacy without letting it crush him. He was quiet strength in human form.
It's difficult not to, not to feel something, have some kind of emotional response to, what this person is going through.
But that strength was tested hard, because the biggest controversy of Malcolm's life, it wasn't something he did, it was something done by someone he loved. Bill Cosby. Their bond? Deep, real. Cosby chose Malcolm when he was just 13, took him under his wing, taught him how to act, how to speak, how to survive, even gave him advice like don't use slang on the show. And guess what? Years later, Malcolm thanked him because when he rewatched the show with his daughter, it still felt timeless. Cosby wasn't just a mentor, he was like a second dad. So when the accusations started rolling in, over 50 women accusing Cosby, Malcolm was devastated, trapped. The world wanted a reaction, and he gave one.
My biggest feeling is I feel sad for, just the way this whole, just the way the whole story has come about.
He didn't take the easy way out. He said, he's one of my mentors. Just as it's painful to hear any woman talk about SA, it's just as painful to watch my friend and mentor go through this. You could feel his heartbreak. He didn't defend Cosby, but he didn't crucify him either. He walked the tightest rope ever, acknowledging the pain of victims while mourning the man who changed his life. And that's real. That's what humanity looks like. He even slammed the media circus that turned the Cosby story into tabloid drama, not because because he wanted to protect Cosby, but because he wanted a real conversation. One with nuance, one with care. But the damage? It was massive. The Cosby Show, gone from syndication, just erased, like it never happened. And for Malcolm, that was brutal, because to him, the show wasn't just a paycheck, it was a movement. It gave America a new image of black families, educated, loving, real. And when it got pulled, that symbol disappeared. Just like that. He said it best. In a few generations, the Huxtables will just be a fairy tale. And then he pointed out the cold, hard truth. Roman Polanski's work still airs. Woody Allen's too. But a whole cast got punished for one man's actions. And that hurt. Not just his pride, but his wallet. "It's literally taking money out of my pocket," he said. See? This wasn't just about legacy. It was about livelihood. And just when Malcolm was ready to give up on the Cosby Show's legacy completely, something shifted. A heart-to-heart with Keshia Knight Pulliam, the girl we all knew as Little Rudy, gave him a new lens. She reminded him what that show meant to people, especially young black kids who saw a doctor dad and lawyer mom on TV and finally felt seen, and that hit him hard. "She really changed my perspective," he admitted. That's when he stopped focusing on what was lost and started focusing on what still mattered, the hope, the impact, the dreams that show gave to generations. And y'all, that's growth. He didn't sugarcoat the hurt, but he didn't let it destroy him either. He rose, quietly, calmly, but with purpose. You know what's wild? While so many child stars went off the rails, Malcolm stayed solid. He didn't spiral. He didn't crash out. That wasn't luck. That was intention. He worked hard, really hard, to break away from Theo. He didn't want to be trapped in that one image. At one point, he didn't even like being called Theo, not out of disrespect, but because he knew he had more to offer, and he proved it. He directed hit shows like Kenan and Kel, became an award-winning musician, spoke truth through spoken word poetry, even snatched a Grammy for Best Traditional R&B, and got nominated for another Best Spoken Word Album. Versatile? Please. He did everything. From sitcoms like Malcolm and Eddie to serious roles in The Resident Suits and American Crime Story, he showed depth, range, soul, and let's be honest, he made it look easy. While the world watched other child stars fall apart, Malcolm was steady because he had something many didn't, a real support system. His mom, Pamela, managed his career. But more than that, she taught him discipline, self-respect, and you could see it in everything he did. Even back in the day, in 1988, he was already speaking life into kids. His book, Theo and Me Growing Up Okay, gave young fans real advice. Not about fame, but about choices, staying clean, staying smart. See? This wasn't just about acting. This was a man trying to live right. And when he grew older, his work did too. He said it plain. You can only go so far before they remind you. It's their game. And now we realize Malcolm saw the same game. He didn't go loud. He went subtle, but it was enough. And then silence. No breaking news, no tributes, no red carpet remembrances, just gone. Almost like they didn't want us to notice. Because the moment we connect the dots between Katt's warnings and Malcolm's last words, it gets real uncomfortable. Because this isn't just Hollywood drama. This is a system. One that praises black men when they're smiling, dancing, and playing along, but turns ruthless the moment they step out of line. Katt was always the loud one, the rebel, the one they couldn't break. But Malcolm, he was the one they didn't see coming. Quiet, calculated, respected. And then, when he finally spoke up, suddenly, gone. And now we're left wondering, how many more tried to warn us before it was too late? And now, we're all sitting here, connecting pieces, watching old interviews with fresh ears, realizing this wasn't entertainment. It was a cry for help, a final message. Malcolm wasn't trying to make noise, he was trying to leave breadcrumbs. And Katt just threw down the entire loaf. The saddest part? We waited until after Malcolm was gone to finally start listening. So ask yourself, why now? Why did his truth only matter after it was too late? And the scarier question, who else tried to warn us before they were silenced too? That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye. Goodbye.